Everything that you advanced in Northern Virginia, Loudoun County, we saw the explosion of the controversies there. What's next for parents in these fights? Because they're doubling down on the left on this radicalism.
Well, I think it's really interesting. We've seen a lot on the gender issue, and parents have a 14th Amendment liberty right to be the primary decision makers for the health, welfare, and education of their children. And what you're seeing is that schools everywhere are completely disrespecting that. They're saying, you don't get to know about your child's gender identity unless the child gives us permission to tell you. Here you have in Maryland where it's, okay, if you're up until 3rd grade, you can't opt out, but after 4th grade, you can. Well, that's an equal protection issue right there. And what is the compelling government interest that they need to have? They won't tell you, but their interest is we need to get to them when they're young, before they have fully developed brains and can look at this and say, wait a minute,
Yeah,
this is ridiculous.
Now, Fairfax County Public Schools now are considering a new rule suspending students for malicious misgendering. So suspending students, and apparently the offense carries with it a suspension of up to 5 days if frequency and intensity are present. Azra.
Yeah, I mean, this is their new, track changes in their new policy, and in it they slip in this punishment for malicious misgendering. I mean, just unbelievable, because a child has, childhood, right, to discover, to learn, not this kind of punishment that's basically policing, right?
But meanwhile, Ian, they're lowering academic standards at the same time. So you have the malicious misgendering rulemaking, and then you have a lowering of academic standards, lowering the bar for everyone. So these are the two competing bad influences on our kids.
That's right, and not just lowering academic standards, but discipline standards. So all across the country, you're saying, well, we need to close the discipline gap. So all these things that we're not going to suspend kids for being disruptive in class. We're not going to suspend kids for things that they normally would be suspended for. But if you misgender someone, now we're going to start the school to prison pipeline on that one.
That's more indoctrination. That's more propaganda from the beginning. Now, for 7th graders in Maryland, if people think I'm exaggerating here, the sexual health section of this new educational framework for the curriculum says identifies many different sexual practices with possible outcomes of each. Azra, again, I'm not going to read all the sexual practices. People are pretty familiar with those. This is bizarre, and it's borderline abusive.
Yeah, I mean, the term grooming has become part of our vocabulary.
Grooming. What does grooming mean?
Grooming has been, I looked it up today, and it is the act of having inappropriate sexual conversations with children for preparing them for sexual acts. And this is, unacceptable and unethical in society.
It's shattering innocence of children. Is it not shattering their innocence?
But all of these books here that I brought, let's talk about it, which it tells kids to actually go online and find like-minded people with the same fetishes that they've got.
What grade is that for?
This is for 7th to 12th graders. So unbelievable. So
is this in the public school system?
It is in the public school system. I got this in the public
We don't have time to go through every dog.
And you know what? We can't even show it on TV because it's so unacceptable.
Well, Ian, so much of these books, a parent tries to read excerpts at a school board meeting, and the parent is shut down for trying to provoke, an absolutely incensed reaction among audience members, attendees at the school board meetings, but the kids can read it. Those guys, thank you so much and for your work on all of this. Great to see you.
Thank you.